Okay, let's get to the agenda today. We're going to talk about the difference between a hormone and a vitamin. There's a distinct difference. Number two, we're going to talk about 4 ways you can tell your levels of one essential hormone are too low. We'll go over the symptoms of that. Number three, we will reveal this hormone. And number four, we'll discuss my 3D approach to balancing this critical hormone. And as mentioned before, at the end, we'll have a Q&A with myself. So please post those questions as we go. So let's talk first about the difference between a hormone and a vitamin. So this is really important. So the first one is a vitamin is something that your body needs to stay healthy and function properly, right? You absolutely need those vitamins, but a hormone is a chemical messenger that helps your body perform different jobs. Anytime you hear the word hormone, just think of messenger, sending things all across your body, telling your body what to do. Hormones help your organs and tissues do things like grow, produce energy, and even control your emotions. Yes, your emotions are impacted by your hormones. So let's talk about 4 easy ways to tell if your levels of one critical hormone are too low. So number 1 would be when levels of this hormone are low, you may experience major mood swings or irritability. So in the chat, if you're someone who experiences mood swings or irritability on a consistent basis, go ahead and type mood swings. I would love to know that. But if you are low in this hormone I'm about to reveal, you may be someone who is experiencing mood swings and irritability. Number 2 would be weak muscles. So weak muscles, or a condition also known as dynapenia. This is groundbreaking research has now proven that age-related loss of muscle strength is a separate condition from sarcopenia, which is age-related loss of muscle mass. It's a condition with different causes, dangers, and remedies, and experts have recently coined the term dynapenia, and dyna refers to strength and penia refers to poverty. So if you're someone who consistently experiences soreness or weakness in your muscles, go ahead and put weak muscles. And I would also say that as we age, it's really important that we maintain muscle strength and muscle mass. Both are very important, and there's a direct correlation between longevity and the health of your muscles. And then we have osteopenia, right? So osteopenia and the health of your bones, osteopenia can develop into osteoporosis, and fragile bones are all related to low levels of this hormone. So for example, without enough of this hormone, your body only absorbs about 10 to 15% of the calcium from your diet. But when your levels are balanced, the absorption rate jumps to 30 to 40%. So if you're someone who's concerned about bone health or having issues with your bones, go ahead and put in bone health in the chat. And this is one where I know a lot of people come into the NativePath world taking collagen and bone health collagen, but we're not going to be talking about collagen or bone health collagen today. This is often a missing piece that most people aren't paying attention to, this hormone, when they're trying to improve their bone health strength. So if you're someone who's struggling with bone health, you're looking to improve that, type bone health in the chat. And then high blood pressure. So if you're someone who is concerned with your blood pressure, go ahead and type high blood pressure in the chat. But when your hormones are imbalanced, when this hormone is imbalanced, your body won't be able to correctly regulate your blood pressure. And without these hormones, your blood pressure can become too high and your risk of dangerous inflammation is increased. It's also possible that unhealthy levels of this hormone can prevent your body from absorbing enough calcium and magnesium. Again, it all comes back to absorption of calcium when it comes to strengthening our bones and for our heart health, which can also lead to high blood pressure. So what is this hormone that we're talking about? You may know it as the sunshine vitamin. Columbia University and Johns Hopkins Medicine say otherwise, right? So again, the sunshine vitamin, but many are now referring to this vitamin as a hormone. And no other vitamin plays the same variety of roles, because hormones help your organs and tissues do things like grow, produce energy, and even control your emotions, which is why the activated form of vitamin D, also known as calcitrol, is now recognized as a hormone, not simply a vitamin. Again, vitamin D is what we're talking about here today. It is a hormone. It is not simply a vitamin. Vitamin D as a hormone has been shown to have enhancing effects on the immune system, the cardiovascular system, the endocrine system, and other metabolic pathways. And more recently, it has become clear that receptors for vitamin D are present in a wide variety of cells, and that this hormone has biological effects which extend far beyond the control of mineral metabolism. So what does vitamin D do? And let's first talk about some of the signs of deficiency. Again, mood changes, right? Who here has mood changes? Bone loss, right? I know a lot of people aren't here for collagen, trying to improve things like osteoporosis and osteopenia, but is your doctor talking to you about vitamin D? Muscle cramps. When you go to bed at night, you get this tough cramp that won't seem to go away. I know a lot of people are having that. That's a big part and a sign that you might be deficient in this hormone. And then bone and joint pain, back pain, knee pain, neck pain, shoulder pain, all can be a signs that you're deficient in vitamin D. And then energy, fatigue. If you're someone who's experiencing afternoon crashes, no matter what you do, you keep going for a coffee, you're having problems with your energy, that can be another sign that you're deficient in vitamin D. And again, what does vitamin D do? It improves fat metabolism. It boosts your natural immunity. One of the best things you can do to not get sick is take vitamin D in the right amount for you. It improves insulin resistance. I've talked a lot about insulin resistance and how it's one of the main things that's really leading to a lot of the chronic diseases that we experience in our culture today. So it improves that. It helps symptoms of type 1 and type 2 diabetes. It reduces risk factors of cardiovascular disease, and it's a potent anti-inflammatory. I've also talked a lot about how inflammation is really one of the roots of all the diseases, just like insulin resistance. Vitamin D is a big part in helping with that. And where do we get vitamin D? So you can actually get it from mostly sunshine. That's the best place to get it. You know, one of the things that we're doing here at NativePath is trying to get people back in harmony with eating, moving, and how they live their life. You know, a lot has changed in the past 100 years, especially with our relationship to the sun. We're spending way more time inside. It's leading to huge amounts of vitamin D in many, many people, which is resulting in a lot of health issues. We want to bring that awareness up. It's really important that you establish a good relationship with the sun, which is why I asked that question at the beginning. Has your skin seen the sun today? You can also get vitamin D from certain animal products. We'll discuss what that is. It's things like fish, salmon, tuna, fish liver. If you're trying fish liver, raw oysters, beef liver, pork back fat, and different organ meats. So those are ways that you can get vitamin D from actual food and animal products, but you can also get it from peas, you can get it from eggs, you can also get it from mushrooms. So let's first talk about 5 tips for proper sun exposure. Again, a lot has changed in the past 100 years with our relationship with the sun. We're getting far less sun, and when we do go outside, we tend to cover ourselves with a lot of conventional sunscreen that can be problematic, and it's a challenge for a lot of people because we're working inside, because some people live in locations and climates where it's not possible. I know a lot of us live up north in New York and Minnesota, and these are long, dark winters, and a lot of people can get seasonal affective disorders and all kinds of immune problems because of this. But know that ideally, we want to get around 20 to 30 minutes a day of healthy sun exposure. And when I say healthy, I mean you're not getting burned, right? That's the main thing, is you're not going out there when the sun's right above the sky and on a super sunny day and just letting the sun just go down and you just get burned. That's not what we're talking about. The best times to get sun is in the morning and in the evening. So sunrise walks, evening sunset walks are some of the best things you can do to also balance other hormones related to sun exposure, like cortisol and melatonin, which is going to help your energy and help you sleep. So another tip on the sun is to not shower immediately after sun exposure. It takes a while for your body to really create that vitamin D on the surface of your skin.
Chad, you're muted. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
This slide.
Thank you. So let's discuss how much vitamin D that you need. And know that current governmental recommendations for vitamin D are weak. Most recommend around 200 IUs of vitamin D3, but little thought is actually given towards the levels our species evolved with. Ancestral norms were around 10,000 to 20,000 IU per day due to sun exposure, right? Think about that. 10,000 to 20,000 IUs per day, but our government is only recommending 200 IUs of vitamin D a day. Also know this, people with darker skin pigmentations, make less vitamin D. If you have darker skin pigmentation, it means your ancestors were really spending a lot of time in the sun. You're going to be someone who really needs a whole lot more vitamin D. And we see this too. We see people who are living in northern climates with darker skin pigmentation have more serious health conditions, more problems with immunity, more problems with obesity, very much related to their relationship with vitamin D. So location is very important. We receive more sun the closer we are to the equator. So getting tested. And how much vitamin D do you actually need? So if you go get a vitamin D test, and this is typically done with a blood draw, they're going to classify you in different levels of deficient, insufficient, sufficient, and you can find excess, right? So 0 to 10 nanograms per deciliter is going to be deficient. 10 to 30 is going to be insufficient still. 30 to 100 is going to be sufficient, and over 100 is considered in excess. So I actually put a poll together, and I would love to post it here. But if you, 2 questions I have for you, have your vitamin D levels been tested in the past year? And then also, if you have been tested, what level are you at? So do you know if you're between 0 and 10? Are you between 10 and 30? Are you good between 30 and 100? Or are you considered an excess, or have you not been tested? This is always really fun information for us to look at. So we have some people that are insufficient, a lot of people are sufficient, and a few of you are over, which is interesting. And a few of you haven't been tested. So if you haven't been tested, I do think it's a good idea. It's really important. Actually, about half of you have not been tested. Really good idea to, if nothing else, know where you're at, because it's going to really dictate the ideal amount of vitamin D for you. So very helpful. Thank you for posting all that. It's really interesting for us to see. So again, populations near the equator have tissue levels around 65 to 80 nanograms per deciliter, and many clinical and scientific studies suggest levels above 50 nanograms per deciliter to be protective against cancer and immunity. And most people do well ingesting between 2,000 and 5,000 IUs of vitamin D per day. What I find is when most people are supplementing with vitamin D, they're still doing around 200 IUs or maybe no more than 1,000 IUs. But most people, especially those who are deficient in any way or insufficient in any way, do very well and very safe between 2,000 and 5,000 IUs per day. So let's talk about the simple 3D approach to lifting your levels of this hormone vitamin. And let's first talk about supplementation. So based on research, vitamin D3 is more potent than vitamin D2 as it's more efficiently absorbed by your body. Vitamin D3 is more effective in raising vitamin D levels in your bloodstream for a longer period than vitamin D2, allowing your body to produce more of the active form and improve communication throughout your cells. And vitamin D3 is also more effective in helping your body produce hormones and can help boost your mood, energy levels, and your overall health. And vitamin D3 alone is helpful, but just like Robin needs Batman to go ahead and fight the bad guys, vitamin K2 is very important in vitamin D3 to really boost this hormone inside your body. Vitamin K2 activates a protein that helps the body absorb and use vitamin D3, which helps the body to produce hormones, maintain strong bones, and promote heart health. Vitamin K2 also helps the body absorb and use calcium, which is important for strong bones and healthy blood vessels. And you can see vitamins K2 and D3 work together to help your body stay strong and healthy. Let's talk about drops. So when you take vitamin D in pill form, and I know a lot of people do, my parents were doing this, they were getting their vitamin D from CVS and Eckerd's and things like that. Only around 20% of it gets absorbed into your bloodstream. It's all about absorption. Meanwhile, the body will take approximately 98% of it when it's in liquid form. Plus, the fillers and pills and powders are a leading cause of stomach irritation, while liquid vitamins are highly concentrated and don't require fillers and binders. And not to mention, due to the absorption rate of liquid vitamins, the nutrients you get to pack, they pack more of a punch, right? So an average 1 dose of liquid can equal the equivalent of up to 20 capsules. Furthermore, taking a vitamin in a liquid form allows you to have better control of each dose. Whether you choose 1 or 7 droppers, you know exactly how much you're getting in each one. So let's talk about some of the things that you'll start to notice when you do start supplementing properly with vitamin D3. And one of the first things people notice is improved muscle mass. I mentioned earlier about how important it is for us to have strong muscles and good muscle mass as we age. This is one of the main things that's going to help us prevent falls. It's going to help us maintain function. Simple things like getting up and out of a chair, not ending up having to depend on someone for transfers and things like that. It's very important. Vitamin D3 plays a huge role in that. And according to a 2018 study, if you struggle to open pickle jars or sauce jars, your physical endurance drops by the day and you find yourself moving around more slowly than usual, you may be one of the 52.4% of people that struggle with this condition. And in addition, a 2021 study of 5,271 females in Ireland showed dynapenia was associated with higher odds of developing depressive symptoms and anxiety. It's also been shown to increase the risk of falls, hospital visits, and premature death, right? So vitamin D3 can definitely help you improve your muscle strength, prevent falls, help you stay independent. The other thing people will notice is that their bones get stronger. So again, a lot of people are taking collagen and bone health collagen, and that's good. But a big part of that is vitamin D3K2 to help your bones be strong. When you see an example of a bone, you often see it as white, hard, and lifeless, but nothing could be further from reality. In fact, your bones are just constantly changing living tissue. So think of bone as a constant bank account where you're depositing and withdrawing bone tissue. Osteoblasts are cells responsible for deposits. Osteoclasts are responsible for withdrawals. Osteopenia can begin to develop as early as age 20 if and when bone replacement occurs too slowly. So recent studies of postmenopausal women suggest vitamin D and vitamin K2 together stimulate the production of osteoblasts and have therapeutic effects on bone conditions such as osteopenia. It's a big part of your bone health, and you start taking vitamin D3, you can see improvements in that. Other thing is it's going to improve the circulation of your blood. So if you're someone who's concerned about cardiovascular health, if you have high blood pressure, anything like that, it's going to help with those conditions, right? In a study of postmenopausal women, those given vitamin D and K2 together maintained vessel wall health, while those of the control group and those taking vitamin D alone worsened over 3 years follow-up. So just know that it's that combination of vitamin D3 and K2 that's really helping with absorption and making a difference in the health of your cardiovascular system. And then we talk about vitamin D3 being a big part of how your immune system gets stronger and reduces inflammation. This is so important. The past 3 years, we've had this big pandemic going on, and very rarely did I ever hear any of our health professionals talk about the importance of vitamin D3 when we have a big problem in our country where so many people are vitamin D3 deficient. And if we just did this one thing, if we have people supplementing with vitamin D3, would it make a huge difference? So several research studies have already demonstrated vitamin D's benefits against respiratory tract infections. In fact, low levels of vitamin D have been associated with a higher risk of infection and symptoms of severity. And Cambridge University reports that the active form of vitamin D tempers the damaging inflammatory response of some white blood cells while also boosting immune cell production and microbe-fighting proteins. Vitamin K is also shown to play a role in reducing the body's inflammation. I talked earlier about how systemic inflammation across the body is a big part of what's making us so unhealthy. Vitamin D3 is going to help with that. So as we discussed before, vitamin D3 and K2 are a perfect pair, and taking together, these vitamins help to ensure the calcium transported by the vitamin D is absorbed by your bones where it's needed rather than accumulating in deposits in your arteries. And many readily available vitamin D products on the market do not contain K2. And that's where our high potency formula can come in with vitamin D3 and K2. It promotes strong, healthy bones, muscles, and teeth. It provides dietary support for a healthy immune system. It fosters cardiovascular health, a healthy mood, energy, and cognitive function. And it's made with organic ingredients. Everything is non-GMO, gluten-free, vegan, dairy-free. Again, it has vitamin 2 to aid D3 absorption, and it's in liquid form for rapid bioavailability. And just like my parents, I'm always trying to just stop taking that stuff, start taking the pure, effective NativePath stuff. So notice the differences here with D3 and K2 by NativePath compared to other D3 K2 products. So ours is high strength. It has 1,000 IUs of vitamin D3 with added 200 micrograms of vitamin K2 for maximum viability, where most of the other things you're going to see out there use a cheaper, much less form of D2 and vitamin K2, right? None of it's really backed by research. Very poor products and some of the other things you'll see on the market. Ours is also organic, cold-pressed, antioxidant-rich MCT oil for rapid absorption, just a little bit in there to help you absorb it a lot better. A lot of the other things you're going to see out there are often made with toxic, non-organic carrier oils, such as sunflower oil, which is a polyunsaturated fat, not good for your health, right? Ours also uses no unnecessary ingredients, no preservatives, flavors, or fillers, just pure but effective ingredients. And many of the other things you'll see out there are highly ineffective. They're in a pill form, often filled with unnecessary binders and fillers that slow digestion and absorption. Very important. And ours is also produced in a good manufacturing practice facility, where most of the other stuff out there is unaccountable manufacturing processes in countries with less strict regulations. So I am a doctor. I'm not a numbers guy, but I did talk to our team, and we want to make a very special offer for you today since you've taken the time to be with us on this live webinar today. So that's why I made sure that we had a special offer for you, and where you can get up to 42% off when you get 6 bottles of vitamin D3 plus K2 drops today. And as a special gift to you, I'm also authorizing free shipping on all orders placed through the link that Coach Rachel and Coach Krista are entering into the chat now. So if you go over to the chat, you're going to see some links they put in there. It's going to take you to a page where you can go ahead and get those 6 bottles, or really however many you need. But this is a great way for you to stock up and just make sure that you're getting enough vitamin D3, K2. So thank you and congratulations. You can lock in your special discount pricing by either clicking the link Coach Rachel or Coach Krista entered into the chat. And again, we will email you this recording, and you'll also have a link in the email where you can purchase. So now's a good time for me to break out, and let's just see what kind of questions we have going on today. So let's see, we'll go to the Q&A here. So Cindy says, I just got labs this week. Vitamin D3 was 43. My thoughts. So that's in a healthy level, but generally I like to see it above 50. Ideally, that's probably best. But remember, 30 to 100 is acceptable. But ideally, if you're asking me, I like to see it above 50 just for healthy levels. Francis says, what's your opinion on calcium? I have been listening to doctors that feel it causes calcification in the arteries. It's a really good question, Francis. And I know we have a lot of people that have been told by their doctors to take a calcium pill. And I'm in belief that I'm not a big fan of calcium supplementation at all. I do feel it causes calcification in the arteries. When it comes to calcium, the old belief is that we need to take calcium for strong bones. And what I have learned over the years is it's not just about calcium. It's more about calcium absorption and the other factors that are going to play into strong, healthy bones. So as I mentioned throughout this webinar, vitamin D3, K2 is going to be one of the best ways that you can improve your body's absorption of calcium. It's really best to get calcium from your food rather than supplementing. I mean, have you seen a calcium supplement? It is big, it is hard. Your body has a hard time actually absorbing that and it making a difference in your body. It's better to get calcium from foods like leafy greens, like nuts, almonds, walnuts, things like that. But supplementing with vitamin D3, K2, taking things like collagen, bone health collagen is going to help. Magnesium is also going to help. Sun exposure is going to be a huge part of it. And so is weight-bearing exercise, right? So one of the things that makes our bones stronger is just simply weight-bearing exercises and putting more stress on our bones. So think about this. If you went to outer space where there's no stress on your bones because there's no gravity, someone comes back with very weak bones, right? The density of those bones have decreased. Something really simple you can do is just take some dumbbells and walk for 50 yards, put the dumbbells down, rest about a minute, and do that 4 to 5 times. You want the dumbbells to be heavy enough such that you can hold them with a good walking posture, but not so heavy that it's making you kind of slump a little bit. So really as heavy as you can, walking with good posture, about 50 yards, taking a break. That is so weight-bearing exercise, vitamin D3, K2, collagen, magnesium, going to do far more for improving the health of your bones than a calcium supplement ever will. And there's lots of problems with calcium supplementation in terms of the symptoms, things like you mentioned, the calcification of the arteries. It's a concern. So those are my recommendations there. Jan says, I'm a vegan. Are there alternative sources for me? For vitamin D3, K2, no. But if you're a vegan, I think you should be fine. There's nothing in the vitamin D3, K2 that comes from animals, so you should be fine there. Again, it has vitamin D3 and K2, and then MCT oil, and that's it. There's nothing else in there, so you should be good there. I'm not sure what you mean by WFPW vegan. Maybe you can elaborate on that. Carol says, when I have my regular checkup with my doc, do I need to specifically ask for vitamin D to be tested, or is it automatically included and I just haven't paid attention to it? There, I'm not sure. To be careful, I would ask for it to make sure. Typically most blood panels are going to check for vitamin D, but to be careful, I would ask for that just to make sure. What about chastaberry liquid, Michelle? I'm not too familiar with chastaberry liquid, so I can't really comment on that. But having said that, I haven't heard of it, and it's not really something that I know much about, so I can't really comment on it. When it comes to health and things that most people need, I would put vitamin D3, K2 above that for all the things that we talked about: bone health, mood swings, cardiovascular health, anything, bone health, all of it. I would vitamin D3, K2, one of the foundational things. Do you have to keep it refrigerated? I leave it at room temp. So Naomi, no, you can just leave it at room temperature. That's okay. Cindy says, how much MCT oil does it contain? Very little. It's just enough to help with absorption. So it contains 200 micrograms of MCT oil, so very little. And that's one of the main things that makes ours different, is the other D3, K2s out there will put in harmful fillers that aren't too good for the body. So, MCT oil is a very healthy fat, and it's used to really help you absorb the D3 and K2. Jamie says, does it increase the effectiveness of D3, K2 if you add it to your coffee or other form of liquid vitamin? Jamie, to be on the safe side, I wouldn't mix it with heat. Something like a coffee, I would suggest just doing it at room temperature, just a drop on your tongue. And with the MCT oil, it actually tastes, I know it sounds weird, but it tastes pretty good. But I wouldn't add it to the coffee. And I can't for sure say that. I would just feel more comfortable not doing it with any heat. So is this MK4 or MK7, Kathleen? I'm actually not sure what MK4, MK7 is, so I can't really comment on that. Joe Marble says, vitamin D3 plus K2, you recommend 2 to 5 drops a day. Yes, and that's really based on where you're at with your testing. So, it's interesting, Joe, I thought I was good with my vitamin D3, K2 levels, and because I go out and get sun all the time. I go out and get morning sun and evening sun. I typically take my shirt off. I'm typically walking for, 15 to 30 minutes out there. So I thought I was good. And then just out of curiosity, I got tested last summer and I was at 27. So that's what really got me passionate about vitamin D3, K2. So I started supplementing. Since I was low, I started doing 5 drops a day. So if someone's insufficient, that's someone who's probably going to do better with 4 to 5 drops a day if you're anything below 30 like I was. But if you're in normal limits already, especially if you're around 50, a good maintenance dose would be about 2 drops a day. So it really depends on where you're at. And of course, if you're above 100, you might even need to just lay off a vitamin D3, K2 for a while until you get back into normal limits, because you don't want to be too high either. So Carol says, I currently have 10 bottles of NativePath D3, K2. Does it expire? It has a long shelf life. I'm not sure. Maybe Krista, if you can answer that, but I think it's 2 or 3 years. But you should be fine. But with that's enough to last you a year. So you're within healthy limits there. Where should calcium numbers be in the range? Brenda, I have to look that up for, I'm not too sure on that one. So, but we can look that up for you and let you know. But generally calcium, looking at that is not something I'm too familiar with. Jamie says, what are your feelings on taking zinc as a supplement when you're in your 60s? Zinc is generally a really good thing to take for your immune system. We actually have zinc in our native defense formula. So it is a good thing for the health of your cells, for the health of your immune system, really important. So Lynn says, my tested vitamin D is over 100. Do I need to decrease my vitamin D intake? I take 5,000 IUs every day. I also take vitamin K2. Yeah, that's a good question, Lynn. If you're already over 100, I would back off a little bit and just let the sun do its thing. I mean, you're getting plenty of vitamin D already. I wouldn't worry about supplementing in your case. So I would back off, even if, like, I mean, talk to your doctor, but really you got plenty. No need to supplement for you for a while. But I would try not supplementing for a while and then seeing where you're at, maybe in 6 months, and testing again. What about collagen for osteopenia? Yes, Jan, collagen is great, just like vitamin D3, K2 is going to be great for osteopenia, osteoporosis. That's part of our regular formula. So Jamie says, you mentioned magnesium. What is your recommended dosage? Jamie, anywhere from 200 to 400 milligrams a day is pretty good. You can do this before bed, maybe 2 hours in a drink, and a tea is a really good way to take it. We're actually coming out with I'm going to do a teaser. We're going to come out with our own magnesium here over the next 6 weeks. So stay tuned on that. But it also has ashwagandha in there, which is really helpful for reducing stress. But magnesium is going to be a big part of what we need here to keep the bones healthy. Generally, magnesium, vitamin D3, K2, fish oil, a probiotic, those are kind of all foundational things that I think everybody should really be taking across the board, unless you have excess, as we mentioned earlier. So Janice says, I have osteoporosis about 8 years now. I'm succinctly on 2,000 IUs daily. Last check was January, and I was 46 nanograms. Not sure if it's okay to change. I have a history of blood clots. And I'm assuming it's okay to have more vitamin K2 as long as no Coumadin. Yes, and she also has me on no added calcium. It all seems this is totally opposite that I should be doing. If you're at 46, I think you're a pretty good level for you to be at. A good maintenance dose is 2,000. And I think you mean IUs, not milligrams of D3 daily. So I think you should be fine there. And not taking calcium, I think in your case is a good thing. So it sounds like you have a doc, and actually, yeah, it seems totally opposite than what you should be doing, but it sounds to me more like that's what you're on the right track. In your case, Janice, I would also suggest making sure we're taking those other things for the osteoporosis, like the magnesium, the weight-bearing exercise. I can't stress enough how important and how effective that is going to be. If nothing else, just practice sitting and standing from a chair to get your leg strength strong. It's going to leg strength in general is a big indicator of your longevity, your balance, and maintaining your function. So if nothing else, do that. But I highly suggest doing what I was talking about, just carrying dumbbells, heavy enough to where you don't lose your posture for about 50 yards, going to make a huge difference. So again, magnesium, vitamin D3, K2, keep doing what you're doing, weight-bearing exercise, and collagen and bone health collagen would be very effective. So that's a good way to check it out. So Carol said, what's the difference between NativePath collagen and bone health collagen? So that's a very good question. So NativePath collagen in general is regular collagen peptides. When you take regular collagen peptides, it's going to go all over the body, right? It's going to go to your hair, your skin, your nails. It's going to go to your teeth, your tendons, your ligaments. It's going to go towards your gut lining, and it's going to go towards your bones. The difference between the peptides and bone health collagen, so where the peptides go all over your body, the bone health collagen is more targeted. It's not going to go to your hair, your skin, your teeth, your ligaments. It's going to go more directly in a targeted way to your bones. And it's very heavily studied, very heavily researched. And if you're interested, you can look at another webinar we did on bone health collagen, where we show you a whole bunch of data and the amazing results people are getting in their bone density scans after they use bone health collagen for 3 months and 6 months. Incredible things happening there. So what I generally recommend for people with osteopenia, osteoporosis, any bone health issues, is to take both, right? Collagen peptides are really a foundational thing that you need for overall health, especially as you age. And if you're having those bone health issues, take another scoop. It's got, I believe, 7.5 grams of collagen in there, plus a Verisol formula to help with your hair and your tendons and things like that. But both are very helpful. but that's my recommendation, and that's the difference. So Brenda says, I'm taking regular collagen, 20 milligrams a day. I'm planning on taking and trying Chad's Fortibone. So for everybody else, that's the bone health collagen. How much of that should I take along with the 20 milligrams a day? I also have been experiencing leg cramps in my lower calves, usually in the morning when I try to do a stretch in the body. But last time I checked my vitamin D levels, I think the numbers were around 80 or less. That's good. Sounds like you got good vitamin D levels. Regarding the Fortibone, the bone health collagen, just one scoop. No, there's no need to ever take more than one scoop of the bone health collagen. It's good that you're taking 2 scoops of the regular collagen. I think you're fine continuing with that, but I would just add on another 1 scoop of the bone health. No need to take any more than that. And then the other thing I would suggest for the cramps is making sure you're getting enough electrolytes. So things like potassium and magnesium and salt are going to be really important. So again, the magnesium, if I would say if you're having the cramps, try taking around 400 milligrams in the evening. That's going to be very helpful. Another thing, until the cramps go away, another thing that could be helpful is just adding a little pinch of salt to your water. And some people are afraid of salt, but salt is not the enemy, just like butter is not the enemy. We're getting a lot of bad information, but just add a little pinch of salt to your water and drink that first thing in the morning. Have about half your body weight in ounces of water throughout the day. Keep putting that little pinch of salt. Try the magnesium. That should make a huge difference in your cramps. So please keep us updated on that, Brenda. Jan says, are there any plant-based options for collagen? There are some plant-based collagens out there, but generally I'm not a big fan of them. They're just not as effective. It really comes down to the type of collagen, how well your body is going to be absorbing that. Not really going to be effective in making a meaningful difference in your body. One thing you may want to consider, Jan, is our Collagen Care Plus formula. That's something that actually has no animal-based products in there at all, but what it does have is all the vitamins and minerals that help your body produce more collagen endogenously on its own. So it has vitamin A, C, B7, magnesium, and zinc, which we talked about earlier. So that would be a good thing that you can take is the Collagen Care Plus. I'm actually holding it right here. And you can email our customer experience team at cs@nativepath.com and just ask for that, and they can get you hooked up. But that's a great way to improve, get a lot of the benefits from collagen without taking an animal-based product. Cindy says magnesium oxate or citrate, which is better? They're both actually good. I read a lot on this. Either is good. I'm not too concerned about one or the other, just as long as you're getting one of them. I'd say citrate is a little more accessible for most people. I find that in more things, but either are good. I'm not too concerned about that. Our Collagen Care Plus here actually has this magnesium citrate, has 200 milligrams, so it can fix a lot of these issues. Brenda says, do I recommend taking a multivitamin to get everything or certain vitamins separately by itself? So most multivitamins, it comes down to absorption. What I find with most multivitamins, they're a lot like these big calcium vitamins, and they're hard for the body to absorb. So if you're someone who is wanting to get a lot of the vitamins and minerals that you need to just generally stay healthy, I always suggest something more like our Native Greens, and that has over 20 different vitamins and minerals that are very beneficial for the body. It's more like it's better absorbed in the body rather than this dense pill form. It has a nice powder taste, has a nice level of sweetness, little peppermint taste to it. You can put it in your smoothies, you can mix it with your water. That is a much better way to get a lot of the vitamins that you need. You said also from Brenda, should I take more than 20 milligrams a day of the regular collagen? I'm 62 years old now, turning 63 in October, and have osteoporosis and have noticed difficulty opening things. So again, Brenda, the vitamin D3, K2, if you make sure your normal levels there, at least 2,000 IUs a day, it's going to be very important for your strength. Regarding 20 milligrams a day, if you're taking a regular collagen, that's a good level. But again, what I would recommend for you is adding in another scoop of the bone health collagen, which is going to give you a more targeted approach for your bones. So it's making a more meaningful difference. But also remember the magnesium, very important. Karen says, I have a mast cell activation, so I can only take liquids or powder form. How do I get krill oil? Can't take capsules. Can't take capsules. How do I get krill oil? and you can't take capsules. Well, so you can only take liquids or powder form. Got it. So if you can't take, there should be some, our krill oil does come in a capsule generally, and I guess you're having a hard time swallowing that and absorbing that. So there may be some other liquid forms of krill oil where you pour into a spoon and take it that way. I'm not sure what's out there, but I do know that's possible for fish oil, that you can do that. So that would be another way for you to get a lot of the EPA and DHA that you need. But ours is just in a capsule form. So I think that is it for our questions. So if I'm missing anything, all right. Okay, everyone. Okay, well, I think that's it. So thank you all so much for joining us today. And if you have any other questions, please email us at cs@nativepath.com. Usually those questions will get forwarded to me. I'm happy to answer them as best I can. But thank you so much for joining, for being a part of us today. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. And we'll see you on the next webinar in 2 weeks. Okay, bye, everyone.